Gatwick, clearance, good morning. Expo 5118.
Sure, 5118, good morning.
Expo 5118 is on stand 13, copy information, echo. Requesting the clearance onward to Corfu.
Sure, 5118, roger, now Foxtrot, Corfu, now Dover 8 Mike, squawk is 0314, and the slot 1214.
Roger, Dover 8 Mike, 0314 the squawk, slot 1214. Gatwick ground, Expo 5118, on stand 13, ready for push.
5118, push approved, stand 13.
Push approved, Expo 5118.
Top of the ground.
We'll be on to taxiway Zulu.
We've got a,
99, Monster Tower 124, that's 122.
Doors and hedges.
Go ahead, Tower, US 099 Heavy. Confirm.
Okay, ready to start service?
What's your signs?
All set.
Ground 36, on stand 35, thank you. Roger.
This is 20,500 kilos.
SB bugs in one.
All set.
CDU.
Yes, set.
Briefing.
I'm in 05 Alpha, make a right turn now, we'll be going southbound on taxiways Romeo at 08 left, holding point Charlie 1.
Taxi southbound Romeo 0 left for Charlie 1, Bomber 05 Alpha.
Move forward. Central. Yeah.
Okay, come to the ground and you clear to start push.
Yeah, clear. Brakes off.
Brakes released.
Central.
We go.
Right. Central. Turn happy with it.
Right up.
Turn left. Left. Central.
Service, I can't low, Jersey 967 Charlie.
Central.
Jersey 967 Charlie, service there.
Roger, should be on stand 10 past the hour, 103 passengers and 2 wheelchair walk-off. Can you confirm the passenger figure for the 968 for me, please?
Start right left.
Stand by a second, please.
So, let's start both engines.
Clear.
Starting right. Yeah, clear sound.
Okay, starting right.
Gatwick Operations, American 79.
American 79, stand by, please.
Okay.
Break, Jersey Bravo Alpha.
Go ahead.
Your passenger figure on the outbound 968 is 79.
Roger, 05 Alpha. Make it 08 left for holding point Bravo 1.
0 left for Bravo 1, Bomber 05 Alpha. American 79, service there.
If you could send our one of our maintenance personnel to the airport. I need a taxi, please.
Okay, it's not for you.
Right turn on taxiway Quebec, Lima and Pap.
7.
4% kilometer.
I'm in 05 Alpha, Bravo 1, Monster Tower 124.22, bye.
1242 05 Alpha, bye.
Choose pull forward, hold shoulder taxiway Papa. Pull forward, hold shoulder Papa 2776.
No disconnect, hand signals on the left. Goodbye.
Second right turn there, taxiways Juliet, Sierra and Lima.
Juliet Sierra Lima for 49.
Turn on to taxiway November, holding point Alpha 2. November for Alpha 2, speedbird 2776.
747 there.
86 for Romeo, be taxiways Papa November, holding point Alpha 2. Okay, be Papa November and holding point Alpha 2. GB6 for Romeo. To the XL, continue to stand 17 via Kilo, 24. GB6 for Romeo, Alpha 2, Monster Tower 124.22. Alpha 2, Monitor 12422, GB6 for Romeo.
Thanks. On. Take a briefing and look guys.
Review.
Coming.
Secure.
Take it to the plane.
Roger. Number 2 is the far one, yeah?
Sure.
GB6 from Lima. 645 118, 120.22.
120.124.22, Expo 5118.
Take it afternoon, continue approach number 1. Continue approach 267, flight 952. Yes, 990 now, thank you. Contact London Control 134.12, bye-bye.
Yes, sir, 99. Good day.
Takeoff 26 left, 240 degrees at 6.
Okay, clear takeoff for 22 left, GB64 number.
Sunset 418, Gary Town, line up and wait, 26 left.
Yep.
Clear on the left.
Vacate to the right, once vacated, contact ground 121.8, bye-bye.
Right to 121.85, 984. Bye.
5118, clear takeoff 26 left, 230 degrees at 7.
Clear takeoff, Expo 5118.
Golf Tower to the first landing, 737 at 6 miles, line up 26 left.
After first landing aircraft, 737 6 miles, clear on 26 left, 32 Golf.
Big one.
Gary Town, good morning, the Ryanair 114.
Ryanair 114, Gary Town.
Good land, Ryanair 114.
So 5118, contact London Control 120.52, bye-bye.
Altitude 6,000 feet. After the range on the slow speed of 6. 6,000 and after the right turn, no speed restriction. Expo 5118. Suntuck 418, route to Lake Coxey. Kilo Echo, Suntuck 418. proceed to Golf claim to altitude 5,000 feet to the right.
18, hello to you, you're identified. Continue, climb flight level 370 and you proceed after Coxie direct to Karlsruhe.
370 at Coxie direct to Karlsruhe, Expo 5118.
Coxie, Karlsruhe.
Alright, 611, good afternoon to you, you're identified. Continue on your heading and maintain flight level 330.
Hey, very good afternoon, fellow travellers. My name is David Fairhurst. I'm the captain on today's flight from London Gatwick down to Corfu on the western coast of Greece, one of the more famous Greek islands. With me today in the flight deck is First Officer Mike Hall. Mike was previously with Air Europe based in Milan prior to joining Air Atlanta. I've spent the last 5 years with Vietnam Airlines. Flight time from Gatwick down to Corfu today, we have about a 60 knot tailwind, is some 2 hours and 30 minutes. And we're at 37,000 feet and weather conditions are fine. And we're cruising at a standard Mach number around about decimal 80, which is 80% of the speed of sound. With our tailwind today, it's giving us a ground speed of 522 knots currently. So we're just passing over the top of Frankfurt, and from here we track into western Germany over Kempten, and then from there we track shortly down near Munich, and from Munich we cross a little bit of the Alps down the eastern coastline of Italy. At the southern tip of Italy, we pass over the city of Brindisi, and then out across on a direct track almost to Kirkira, which is the main navigation aid for the island of Corfu. Some of you may not be too familiar with the layout of the 767 cockpit. I'll keep it as simple and brief as I can. Often we get many passengers come up to have a look, and they're always amazed at how much instrumentation there is in here, and switches and dials and the usual thing. It's actually a fairly simple layout from Mr. Boeing. We have the overhead panel, and it's laid out in strips. Starting from the left-hand side, we're looking at the hydraulic system, coming across to the fuel system, the electrical system, then the fuel system, then we look at the pressurization system and the air conditioning system. We have a few other ancillary gadgets in there as well, radios and engine starters, a lot of light switches along the bottom of the overhead panel there. Coming back to our hydraulic system down here, we have three main hydraulic systems on the 767. They call them left, centre and right. The centre hydraulic system in the 767 is the main hydraulic system. It takes the majority of the load, and the main loading into hydraulics is the landing gear and the flaps. Flight controls are shared by all three hydraulic systems. What we have in the left system, we have the primary, which is a engine-driven pump, and that is backed up by an electric pump when the need arises. In the centre system, we have two electric pumps, and that is backed up by an air-driven pump which uses bleed air. The right system is identical to the left system as far as function goes. It also has an engine-driven pump and a backup electric pump. All the systems on the overhead panel, basically we're looking for no lights to be on in normal operation. We have a test button here, and you may be able to pick it up there. You can see that we get warnings for all our different systems when they come on, and that indeed translates down through the whole cockpit for our warning system. Coming across from the hydraulic system, we move into the electrical system. Again, it's a basic aircraft layout, starting from the top with a battery and standby power. So we start in DC, and then we come down to an APU generator, which gives us AC power, and then we have two engine-driven generators feeding into the left AC bus, and the right engine-driven generator into the right AC bus. Two switches in the centre here, utility bus, the high load items, and the largest electrical load we'd have in this aircraft would be the ovens and the galleys. Coming across into our fuel system. Again, it's a fairly simple system these days. We have 3 tanks, left, centre and right. We usually work in our wing tanks first, the left and right tank. And in this particular aircraft, the 200 series, they carry 18 tonnes of fuel in each wing. Today we departed with just over 20 tonnes of fuel, so we were just over half full in each wing tank. The two wing tanks, each of them contain 2 fuel pumps, an aft and a forward fuel pump, and exactly the same on the right system as well, an aft and a forward. We can fuel cross feed between tanks to keep the fuel balance equal. We also have 2 centre pumps, and they drive the fuel pumps for the centre system. If we did have some centre fuel on board, we would use the centre fuel first prior to using any fuel out of our main wing tanks. Moving further across to the right, we come to our pressurisation system. What we basically set up here is we tell the system where we are going to. So today we're going to Corfu, which has an altitude of around about 16 feet. So it's basically at sea level, which we dial in there. And we have 2 systems. We have Auto 1, Auto 2, and then a manual backup system for the pressurization. This indication panel there is showing us the present cabin differential is around about 8.6 psi-d. That's pressure differential, and the current cabin altitude is just over 6,000 feet above sea level, and this just gives us a rate of climb or descent within the cabin. It's an excellent system, and it basically controls itself, and it doesn't require any input from the pilot in normal operations. Moving a little bit further to the right, we come to our air conditioning system. It operates through 2 air conditioning packs, taking bleed air off the left engine and the right engine, or on the ground we can take bleed air from the APU, and it comes through 2 air conditioning packs, and further up we can control the temperatures in each zone, in the flight deck, the forward cabin and the aft cabin. We have recirculation fans which we generally leave on, and they recirculate around about 40% of the cabin air. And you're probably looking at around about a complete recycle of all air in the cabin of between 2 and 4 minutes. Further up we can monitor the actual cabin temperature and also the flight deck temperature. Ideally during the daytime we're looking for about 23-24 degrees. At night time we would increase these temperatures up to about 25 just for passenger comfort.
Buon pomeriggio, Radar Contact, proceed direct to Charlie Hotel India, then Victor India Echo. Cleared, and are you able to take level 390 approaching Bravo Juliet, sir? Hey, Vernon, we can climb maintain 392. Number 38 Zulu Padova.
Sorry, direct to Kilo Papa Tango 3.
With 282 present position, direct to VS, Victor India Echo, thank you.
Right here, stay with 282.
How you doing? Well, we're expecting to land towards the north at Corfu, and I'm thinking for that, if you glance down here you can see landing at Kikira here, which is our landing airfield. The wind is expected to be 340, 15 knots gusting 28, so it's coming from the northwest, and so the runways there are roughly north-south. So that's the initial thinking. So to take this a stage further, if we glance at the airfields themselves, we can see there's Kikira lot, 17 and 35, so we hopefully will be landing towards the north. That's the initial thinking anyway. There's the airfield plate. So to how to set the FMC up, there's 3 or 4 stages. We go back in the charts, and then we want to take that a stage further and essentially take the charts and translate it into an arrival on the FMC, Flight Management Computer. So we're coming inbound towards Tigra here, and then the airfield beacon is Garitsa, which is right on the field as you can see here. So Tigra, no doubt a Tigra 1 Alpha arrival down towards this point here, which is 34 miles away from Kikira, and then down towards the beacon here. So if we have a glance at that for a kick-off, we could then move on a little bit further into looking at the approach plate itself. There's a VOR DME arrival for runway 35. And it's got high terrain towards the north and northeast, it's 7,200 feet, and towards the southwest it's 4,300 down there. So essentially, you know, we're coming from the west, from the south coast of Italy, Brindisi, towards Tigra, which is on the border between Italy and Greece, and then we're going from there towards this beacon here. And then we need to construct an arrival whereby we're going from the beacon here, outbound on this VOR DME approach to 9 miles, and then a right-hand pattern to come in. So you can see it goes outbound Cat C and D. Well, we're a Cat C aircraft to 767-200. The 300's a D because it approaches a slightly faster speed. We go down to 9 miles around the corner onto 346 inbound. So that's like a vertical profile. Then if you have a glance down the bottom here, 4,500 outbound on 147 to 9 miles and inbound on 346. So that's looking at it from the side. So that's the initial thinking, and then from there we'll actually go down to this runway, which is here, which we just looked at for a start. So let's translate that now and put that into the FMC. Brilliant, isn't it?
Are you happy, mate? The weather, Vienna's covered.
It looks absolutely wonderful. Do you think we could land there? Certainly. Rialto Bridge, they call it. And St Mark's Square and all the carry on. Right down in the centre. We've got a great big church in a big square. I don't know how clear it is from over there. I can't see it from the sun.
It's not near the water then. Steady stream of boats going from Venice straight to the airport. Oh yeah, lots of boats there.
So you can see here that this is the airway then. We've gone from Gatwick down to Kikira, Lower Europe, Greece, and Kikira is the airfield. And the fun little bit takes us from Brindisi here, which is on the coast of Italy, via this airway onward to Tigra, which is the border with Greece. And then from there, all we've got then is the airfield itself. So we need to construct an arrival from the charts, which we expect to have. So if we go to the departure arrival button here, all these are like chapters within a book. The route, how we climb the aircraft, the speeds we want to climb it, the cruise, the level we wish to cruise, for example here, so 37,000 feet, the optimum altitude is 38,000 feet, 400 there, and 41, so we're just slightly below optimum, and that's the speed we're going. So to think about the arrival then, we go to departure arrival here, and when we talked about it a couple of seconds ago, we thought about an arrival towards the north. So that's the VOR approach for runway 35. We just push this button here, which is line selecting, which is essentially on the right, and it brings it down into our thinking. So there's the arrival there then. VOR for 3.5, and these are the various standard arrivals, the stars. So if we have a glance here, we could see it's either going to be a Latin 1 Alpha or a Latin 1 Bravo. So, my apologies, okay, let's have a look. The Tigra arrival. So from Tigra, we have to come down towards the beacon. So Tigra 1 Alpha and Tigra 1 Bravo. Let's have a look at these. There's a Tigra 1 Bravo, and see how it looks. So, we select Tigra 1 Bravo, it comes into the VOR, and then we want to see what sort of transition it's going to have. And we're going to the beacon at Goritza, so GAR, we line select that one, and hopefully that will give us some bits and pieces to help us through. Let's have a look at it and see how it features. If we then go to the legs page, we can then look at the last bits and pieces on the way in, and we can step it. So in other words, we go down each little piece, and then we can cross-check with the screen down here to see how the arrival comes in. So VS to Voca, and then Brindisi. You see it coming through there, lot? Brindisi. And we come towards the field. We can adjust the scale slightly to make it bigger. That's on a 20-mile scale there. And see how it looks. So, essentially then, we've now gone from Tigra down to 34 miles away from Kikira to the Goritza beacon down here. So from that point, then it's essentially going to go into an arrival which has this VOR teardrop approach. So we want to be overhead Goritza here, clean, and then trundling down nicely all the way around. We've got 9 miles to lose the height, and then coming back in for the arrival itself. So, here we are at Goritza then, 4,500 feet. So to refine this, we need to know what the landing speed will be. We know the landing weight is 116 tons, so if we put that in there, we can see now speed that we're going to arrive at. So 131. If we add 5 knots to that, that will be roughly the speed over the threshold. So that's 136. We take that back here into the arrival. This is the legs here. Runway 35, runway 35. The speed's saying 170 there. So we're at 6 feet the elevation, plus the 50 was roughly 60 feet. That's okay. 56. So 136/60. Now you have an arrival speed. And working it back, we want to be at 9 miles from the airfield here, 2,900 feet, but making the descent. So let's be in a landing configuration. Let's have it right back to 136 in this scenario, because we're just doing a VOR approach. So we'll make that one the same. That's 2,900. So 5 plus 2, 7 plus the airfield itself, that's okay. Bring that up there. And that'll allow us to come in. And then we'll just delete this one here, and it'll give us a vertical profile all the way down to the runway. And back very, very slightly at Goritza. If we consider that the landing speed is 130 knots, or 131, the clean speed is 80 knots over that. So it's going to be 211 down here. So 131, 171, 211. So if we essentially go over Goritza, keeping it fairly smooth, we'll go at 211 knots at 4,500 feet. So that's a little bit slower than that, and it says 4,500 feet or above. So if we alter that slightly and make it 4,500, we're almost there, aren't we? And it says, do we want to execute that? We say yes. And then 2,900 above. So essentially we're going out then to 9 miles, and we want to be at 170 to make the turn, because that's flat 5 here, coming around to make the arrival. So we'll make that 170 knots at 2,900 feet, and we're almost there, aren't we? And that gives us an arrival, and then we can work back all the profiles. So we now know we're going to land at that speed, 136 knots. We're making the approach with the landing configuration, flat 30, and then on the final approach, 170 slowing off, and then over the beacon we're clean. So all that's sorted out now then, and you can see the picture is from the beacon at 4,500 down to 9 miles, a right turn back towards the field and coming into land. We'll make that a slightly bigger picture, and there's the airfield itself. Little airfield there in the harbour. How the ships go from there across to Greece. Yeah, Brindisi down there. And we just head across the sea towards Greek airspace at Tigre.
Papa Pacific.
Ballet 345 radar.
Yes, caution via Novsky Point from present and flight planner route. Approach Expo 511 good afternoon, level 15.
Expo 5511, good afternoon, clear to Garica. Tigra 1 Bravo arrival, descent flight level 110.
Tigra 1 Bravo, direct Garica, Expo 518.
118, flight level 110.
Expo 518, flight level 112. That's climb at 6,000, 1017X or 2043.
Expo 518, 7,000. 1017?
Correct. What's your space?
Briefing.
Good.
Auto brakes.
Set.
SB boats.
Set.
Altimeters.
QH 1017.
No changing course.
Checks. Set.
Recall. Visual at 12 o'clock. You'll have to come left and join on a right hand downwind if possible.
Brakes and steering. Well done, Michael.
Okay, that's right. Hello,
Over on the runway, would you? Shit.
I wonder which one would it be. Last time I was here in the bypass there, I was here for about 3 days. The weather was absolutely like thunderstorms, waiting for it to get weather to get on the coast. I just stayed until it's finished.
Stay here, patient.
That's not too bad a place, really.
Been here before, and I bet you did it, mate.
You're a cruel man. I can't believe you said that. Oh, well, so the meeting whether I goes on. Maybe you go to 3,000 bucks.
In there, on there, facing that way, okay. Lights off, fixed.
Yep. Check the speed, yeah.
Hydraulic system.
Is set.
Fuel system.
Off.
Flaps.
Up.
Speed brake.
Down.
Back weather radar.
Is off right.
Off left. Park brake.
Is set.
Fuel control.
Cut off.
Shutdown checklist complete.
That's it, that's off. Lovely. There's Monica going back to Gatwick. Does that need the same Mac?
Yeah, because it's take off in there, so anyway.
Yeah.
But now you actually.
Expo 5119, go ahead.
XL 5119er clear to London Gatwick via airway Alpha 14, Tigra exit point. Initially climb to and maintain flight level 080. Tigra 1 Foxtrot departure and squawk for Brindisi 3705.
Expo 5119 is cleared to London Gatwick, flight plan route. Alpha 14. Initially flight level 80, Tiger 1 Foxtrot departure, Brindisi squawk 3705, Expo 5119.
5119er clearance correct, hold short of the runway.
Holding shorter.
That was the line-up.
Υπάρχει να διαφέρει ένα μεγάλο αντικείμενο από το πλάνο. Θα κάνω ένα έλεγχο μετά το Charlie πάλι.
3705 is separation. Reasonable view from there, I suppose? Yeah.
XL 5119er, wind 330 degrees, 16 knots, clear for takeoff, runway 35.
Clear takeoff 35, Expo 5119.
Complete takeoff, mate?
Yeah.
Checklist is complete, the runway is clear, cabin is secure.
Everything's good.
Reason why should stay.
Expo 5119 rolling. Dispatch 143 requesting start up to Amsterdam.
Dispatch 143, time 55, stand by. XL 5119, contact now, take it approach 122.35.
12235, X-ray 5119.
Roads, anyway we can turn in visually, but we will to perform a long turn.
Wings 5017, descent altitude 4,500 feet on QNH 1017. Report over Kilo Roma, Kilo VR, commencing approach for runway 35 or continue visually.
Yes, initially descending 4,500 and call you next for the approach level 5017.
Kakira approach, Expo 5119, passing 2,500 feet. Tigger 1 Foxtrot.
Expo 5119, report reaching and maintaining.
Landing gear. Coming off, flaps. Up, second mile.
On the 568 request over, climb flight level 370. On the 568 request level 370.
Cross 2, 21-2, 36 99.
From Mayfield, track 005, descending down to 2000 to be at the 8.5 Mayfield waypoint. 2000, that's also there. And a left turn onto the ILS 21-2 Alpha. Localised previously 110. Decimal 9262 is inbound course. 1525 crossing the locator and marker is selected. And the minimum 395 is set once. Cross check twice. Airport elevation 196 feet is set. Pressurisation MSO 2300. That covers us for all sectors. Missed approach is climb straight ahead. Makes 250 knots to 3000. And we have coming down the ILS over the Gulf Echo Beacon 338 down the runway, and straight ahead 3000 is all in the next page. We need 550 metres viz for the landing, and the weather is covered okay, so weather is not a problem there. Slight crosswind on the left hand side. On landing, we shall attempt to turn off at Foxtrot Romeo, straight across onto Juliet, and then backtrack for whichever bay they give us. And our landing speed will be 28, 68, 208. Auto brakes, I'll leave them off actually on this one. Alright. Fuel wise for our arrival, we have 7.1 and we need 4.5 for Legion. Stansted also is okay, which is even closer. So that gives us, what's that, 2.6, so about 35-40 minutes holding before we have to head off to either of those places.
907, descend to altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1022 millibars.
6,000 1022, Ruben, now,
3000 Expo, 5119.
5119, 21 miles to go, speed around 220.
Understood.
Okay, right engineer you see then, so
So 5119, continue your speed reduction as you require with about 15 miles to go and descend altitude 2,000 feet.
No, thanks for the speed, descending altitude 2,000 feet, Expo, 5119.
that's right. The worst time of night is getting so hot. It normally keeps the night in here now, but
Didn't approach 26 left, Expo 5119.
Yeah, now that's right.
1,000.
12052, 815 fire.
Expo 5119, clear land 26 left, surface wind 2006 knots.
Clear land 26 left, Expo 5119.
Do you accept a Wizard 4 Mike departure?
Yes, what is it? Is the 19 Mike?
719 Mike was here, cleared on a Wizard 4 Mike departure. And
Wizard 4 Mike, Speedway 719 Mike.
Speedway 719 Mike, your next frequency when instructed will be 129.02.
12902.
6 left.
2946, line up after the landing 767, 26 left.
919 Golf, London 134.12, bye-bye.
13412, Jersey 919 Golf, Mount Martin.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Hold short of Juliet.
Left. And 66 is the bottom.
Taxi 9, you're going to push the jumbo straight onto Kilo Alpha. Castro 310, are they pushing you onto taxi bay Kilo Alpha, sir? Could you ask them?
Yeah, we are trying to that back. 310.
Yeah, just go straight back another 50 meters is good.
Okay.
Good morning, 160 knots. Expo 5106 after next landing MD11, line up and wait runway 26 left.
After next landing MD11, line up and wait runway 26 left, Expo 5106.
Correct, be prepared for immediate departure on my call.
Roger.
Yankee Juliet.
58 surface wind 33013 knots, clear to land runway 26 left.
Yes, there's no sign of any type of baggage personnel at all here, and we're still waiting for a wheelchair and buggy.
Yankee Juliet, that's copy to roll, I'll chase them up for you.
Yeah, I mean, none of the passenger bags are being removed, nor are the ones in hold number 5 for us.
Understood, I'll have a... Delta 5A, continue across taxiway Juliet, contact 1218.
218 back.
Expo 5106, surface wind 330 degrees, 13 knots, cleared for takeoff from
106.
Clear takeoff, Expo 5106.
Set.
Speedbird 2253, Gavin Tower, after the next landing, Boeing 737 at 2 miles, line up runway 26 left.
Line up 26 left after the next landing, Boeing 737, 2253.
B1, rotate.
Speedbird 97 Papa Lima.
Excellent.
Expo 5106, contact London 12052.
89, squawking I did, and heading is to 105, and no speed restriction after passing 4000.
Lufthansa 4789, climb flight level 150.
Lufthansa 4789, climbing flight level 150.
Expo 5150, I'm sure you're aware there's a company similar numbers behind you. Flight level 100 after the right turn, Expo 5106. 5106, climb now, flight level 100 after the turn, no speed restriction. Climb now, 10,000 and Correction 100 and no speed restriction.
Flight level change.
Jet set 2. Lufthansa 4, turn left heading 095 degrees, climb flight level 170, Expo 5106, flight heading 095 degrees, climb flight level 170.
Stand by 1 second, sir.
Alright.
Flight level 170, Expo 5106.
Outside controlled airspace.
Outside, product 100.
Enjoy emergency. Okay. Syrian 410, report your passing level, clear level.
We're passing 3,700, clear to 6,000.
Syrian 410, school height.
London Control Expo 5106, good morning, heading 095.
Expo 5106, roger.
Morning, my name is David Fairhurst and we're on a flight today in a Boeing 767-200 series. It's operated by XL Airways, a new charter airline in the UK, and the actual aircraft is owned by Air Atlanta, which is an Icelandic company. And with me on the flight deck today is Alfred Neusiedler from Austria. We've now stabilised in the cruise at 37,000 feet. And we've just passed the city of Brussels, and we're tracking eastbound through Western Europe. Out on our left-hand side, about 80 miles away, is the city of Amsterdam. Weather conditions today are forecast to be fine in the cruise. Unfortunately, there is some lower level cloud, which does spoil our visibility somewhat, but we are expecting that to clear up once we get into Eastern Europe. At the moment, our flight management computers are controlling the aircraft, and if you look on our primary attitude indicator, the auto throttle is controlling our speed, and we're actually flying at a speed around about just under 80% of the speed of sound. A vertical path, as far as maintaining our altitude of 370, is also controlled by our flight management computers, and LNAV, lateral navigation, likewise is being controlled by the navigation computers. And that will basically fly us along this, what we call a magenta line. It's the crimsony coloured line we have on our map display, on our electronic horizontal situation indicator. The head of the aircraft is actually the head of the diamond. I'll just remove some of these other figures on there for you. And we have a couple of waypoints there that the computer is presently updating on. So the computer has a database there of all the navigation aids in the world, and it decides which ones it wants to interrogate and update the position in the computer of the actual aircraft at any given time. So we're tracking along this line, and we'll be maintaining contact at the moment with Maastricht in Belgium for the next few miles, and from there we'll transfer across to German air traffic control. Other details we have on the aircraft. We also have our engine indicating system. This is a wonderful system where it also gives us alerts of any problems we may have along the way, and it will come up in various forms, either in amber or in red configurations on our screen there. So it gives us the engine instruments, basically the N1, the forward turbine speed, the exhaust gas temperature, the power turbine speed, what we call the N2, fuel flows of each engine, and then oil pressures, temperatures, the oil quantities, and there's a vibration metering system within the engines, and it controls various parameters of the vibrations within each engine. On a secondary screen, it also gives us hydraulic quantities, our auxiliary power unit temperature, and that is at the moment switched off, and the oxygen pressure, which is purely a crew oxygen pressure. The crew within the cockpit environment operate on a pressurized oxygen bottle, as opposed to the passengers in the cabin and the cabin crew. They all operate on oxygen generators, which is a chemical generation system. This indication also gives us the positions of each of our flight controls, we're looking basically for a centralized position, certainly in the cruise, as we trim it for the least drag. So we're looking at elevator position on the left wing and the right wing, and the elevators and the rudder position.
QNH 1013, nothing. Maldives weather report at 1. Scattered to the inside.
Level 310.
Climbing 310, 913.
Senegal Flight 002.
Flight 002 radar contact, stand by for descent due to traffic. Golf Flight 024 calling. Flight 024 radar contact 370. Your Mach number?
Decimal 81.
Copy, set course to Ripley.
Direct to Ripley, Golf 024.
LAL 354, are you able for flight level 410?
Approach briefing for Paphos. We got the latest Met report now, telling us a westerly wind, 270, 11 knots, 26 degrees, KFOK 1013 is a QNH. That means we are coming via Tobar. Most probably is a Tobar 2 Alpha arrival, which is on page 20-2 from Paphos. 29th August, 97 active. So, when cleared by ATC, via Tobar, to intercept the 107 track inbound Paphos VR. To be Tobar, 5,000 or above, 7 DME Paphos, 1,700 or above. But which is anyway above the minimum for the initial approach altitude. So the approach itself is on page 11-1 from Paphos. Well, it's 29th of August, 97. So safe altitudes are 3,300 in the sector we are coming from, 2.6 in the south, 4.8 in the east, and the highest is 7.7 in the north-east due to the mountainous terrain. This is the minimum safe altitude based on Paphos VOR within 25 miles. So when we are cleared for approach coming to Paphos, there's always a possibility for a hold. That means direct entry right turn with inbound 107, 4,000 as minimum holding altitude. Okay. So the initial approach altitude is 5,000 feet according to the chart. So when cleared down for the approach, we are leaving the VR on radial 128, which is set on my side, down to 2,100 feet till 8 DME out, with a left turn back onto final. So 108.9 with 287 inbound is set. 2,100 during the turn to intercept the glide path at that altitude. At 5 DME, India Papa Alpha, check altitude is 1,670 and the minimum is 230 feet. Set on both sides. Threshold elevation is 30 feet. The missed approach is straight ahead, 2,500, and the left turn back to the VR to 4,000, which is the minimum holding altitude. Direct entry again into the hold. So the ADF actually is not needed for the approach. I put it both to 328. VR on my side is set to Paphos, 1179, 128 for the outbound radial. You have the 107 for the nav check when approaching the VR. So on the runway itself, runway 29, there's a puppy, 3 degrees angle of flight, and the runway itself is 2,700 meters long. There's the apron to the south. This means we probably have to make a backtrack at the end to come back. Anyway, on the reverse page there is another drawing telling us that there's construction work in progress, building a new apron just northeast of the old one, and also the taxiways are under construction. I have checked the NOTAMs, there's nothing written on that at the moment, except that the puppy is not working on one side. Okay. So we will see, depending on the accurate information we get when we call in. Okay. The speeds. VRF 30 is 131, 71, 211, okay. And threshold elevation 30 feet we have set on both sides. Auto brakes we tried on 3 this time, if you agree.
So I'm just holding on 2 first, see if it holds.
Okay.
Otherwise I'm still on 3, see if it looks up. Yeah.
Okay, see if it's working, otherwise we'll land without it.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah, any questions to that?
7.5, 6.6 and 3.84 Redos to Quebec, yeah?
Okay. Just a VR approach in case of any malfunctions with the ILS. It's 287 inbound and more or less the same procedure, just to check the altitudes later on according to the distance.
Okay.
So it would be helpful if you call it out just in case we need it. Okay. Briefing complete.
Yep, that's 3.84 landing, sorry, and that's about 5.4 Redos. Either way we're covered.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, once more from the flight deck, our position is south of the Isle of Rhodos. It passes actually just 4 minutes ago, still at a cruising altitude of 37,000 feet, heading direct to Cyprus. Remaining flight time 30 minutes, that means in about 10 minutes we're going to start our descent and approach towards Paphos. We will cross the airport of Paphos going towards the east and come back landing in westerly direction. The latest actual weather report gives us a westerly wind with 11 knots, sky clear, the temperature at the moment 26 degrees centigrade. We as a cockpit crew already want to say goodbye to you. I hope you did feel comfortable on board, and we wish you a nice stay in Cyprus.
Bye.
Throttle hold, speed. Straight speed there, after 20 seconds, or
It's Cyprus 303, your restriction to Larnaca will be flight level 170 below by 60 DME from Larnaca VOR, report ready for descent.
Roger, we are requesting descent now, Cyprus 303, to be...
with start here, we have a small problem.
Roger, Kessler 444, do you need any assistance?
We just stand by for a few minutes, please.
Roger.